What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got a lot of D2 Black Armory news to cover in this video. So actually a pretty busy week right now. We've got new exotic weapons in the game, forged secrets, and a huge new puzzle being cracked right now. And it seems like we're going to get a pretty interesting reward for that. We've got a new exotic quest update, the butterfly key for the mysterious box, patch changes from Bungie, Niobe Labs. We're going to speak about a returning character with a huge story twist, and we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about in this video, guys. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, a rating below very much helps me out. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But now, let's get straight into it. So this week, of course, we had a new update in the game. I will cover some of the patch changes for that in just a moment. But alongside the update, we had a bunch of new content inside of Destiny 2, so of course a new quest to unlock the Izanami Forge. And it's definitely a bit of a grind to actually get it unlocked, a bunch of different steps and stuff like that, but if you guys want a guide for that, then I'll link it down below. On top of this though, we do have a new exotic weapon dropping in the game, so of course the Monarque is now dropping randomly in the game when you complete forges. I covered this in a video yesterday. Initially we weren't sure if there was a bug allowing the weapon to drop, or whether it was dropping legitimately, but now we can 100% clarify that Le Monarque is supposed to be dropping in the game. DMG tweeted, and you can see right there, he picked up Le Monarque just yesterday. So it definitely appears that Le Monarque is supposed to be dropping, and you are seeing a little bit of gameplay of it in the background right here, of course with poison arrows. Arrows fired quickly after a full draw become poison arrows, and precision hits with poison arrows spread poison to nearby enemies. And essentially, as you draw the bow, when you hit full draw, you have just a second or two to fire off that precision hit and get that poison arrow. I'll link a video down below with more gameplay and a review of Le Monarque if you want to check it out. But let's talk about some of the other hidden stuff inside of the Izanami Forge. So first up, we're still working on the mysterious box quest, and we do have a new key for that. So the butterfly key is actually available inside of the Izanami Forge itself, and you have to get the maximum temper buff, much like we did with the other forges. And to do this, if you're standing on the top of the map and you look back towards where you enter the map, on the left-hand side, as well as the right-hand side, you do have the two lower platforms of the map. On the inside edges of both of these, there'll be two pillars that you can see, and between wave 1 and 2, you'll actually see the bots spawn in these locations. So if you get both of them killed on the left and right, you can complete the forge as you normally would, and you can see you get that maximum temper buff, and then you can open the chest at the end, and here you'll get the butterfly key. So that is now 3 of the keys for the lock and key, or the mysterious box quest. And from what we know, we'll have to get the final key in Niobe Labs, so it is going to be a couple of weeks until we can make more progress. However, there are some other items currently dropping inside of the game that are linked to this. So Black Armory papers, which we've spoken about previously, are now actually dropping in the Gefanen Forge. And it's just as well that we've started getting some of these, because later on in the lock and key quest, once we've actually opened it, we'll find a decryption device, and as you can see, it says the device allowed Ada-1 to decipher pages of the Black Armory papers. And essentially these are lore collectibles. Like I said, you can start picking them up in Gefanen, and you can check them out in game. Inside of the Izanami Forge itself though, and with some of the new weapon frames from this week, there are a series of new puzzles. So of course we found 2 emblems inside of the Volunda Forge in European Dead Zone by shooting symbols with different weapons. And now that we have the bow, this is the 3rd weapon actually able to see and shoot different symbols on these Forge maps. However, the current puzzle is a little bit more complicated than some of the other ones we saw earlier on in the DLC. There are a series of different puzzles and ciphers that actually have to be figured out. Initially, when you're in the middle of the map right here, if you look through the bow, written in French, you will see turn the wheel 4 curves forward. And that's just one of the many instructions. Honestly, I can't claim to understand what's going on entirely right here, but the folks over on Raid Secrets have been pooling together to try and figure this out. They've definitely made some progress with some of the new puzzles, but there are a few more missing things. It's going to be a little while potentially before this all gets figured out, but the running speculation right now is that we'll be able to activate the 3rd beacon in the Volunda Forge. Of course, with us having Le Monarque in the game right now, it seems possible that this secret could be tied to the Jotun, because much like Le Monarque just a few days ago, it was declassified in the database, which means it's pretty likely to drop soon. And on top of this, we do know that the mysterious box appears to be linked to the Izanagi's Burden Sniper, which is still classified. We can see this in the text right here. According to the Black Armory papers, a charged Hyperion core is made to enhance a weapon very dear to Ada-1. And of course, we've seen Ada holding the sniper. It's been depicted a few different times. But on top of this, there is some lore that suggests he may have actually used this sniper at some point, or at least a variation of it. So it seems that Izanagi's Burden will be the reward for lock and key, or that mysterious box quest as we know it in the game. So perhaps Jotun will be the reward when we uncover what's happening in the forges with the new puzzles, but I'll have to keep you guys posted. Quick shout though, after the reset this week, you can now get some of the Forge emblems dropped, especially the Gafanan's Hammer emblem. This is actually dropping when you turn in daily bounties or weekly bounties for Ada. It appears to be a random drop, but you do have a chance to get it when you turn in the Forge bounties this week. So I'll keep you guys posted with everything to do with the Forges, the new secrets, potential quests, and you can check out a review of Le Monarque and a guide to the Izanami Forge, linked down below if you need it. Now though, let's move on to something pretty interesting in the game. So big spoiler alert right here. We actually have a pretty important story component. Before I get into the spoiler though, it's worth me saying, if you haven't completed the Oracle offering this week, of course it is a max curse week, so Marasov is back in her Ascendant Realm, and I 100% recommend that you go and check it out. But now for the full spoiler warning, we're going to talk about this. So I'm going to run this clip in just a moment, but what we see is a returning character. There was a leak about this a little while ago. It looks like Prince Aldrin is now alive and has returned as a Guardian, so check out this cutscene. So when you're inside of Mara's Ascendant Realm, she's actually not present. The chest will still be there that you can get the loot from, and if you go over to this area right here, you can actually lean in, essentially hold X, to run this cutscene. And we see the cutscene that we've just played, and then you'll find yourself back in the throne world. But what on earth does it all mean? Well, firstly, of course, Prince Aldrin has been resurrected, he has returned, but of course he was awoken by a ghost, so now Aldrin is technically a Guardian. He is Traveler's Chosen, and it seems that this is definitely going to have a pretty big influence on story in the future. Obviously, Bungie are going to want to do something with this at some point, and for now they've just kind of given us that information that Aldrin has indeed returned to the game, but when we'll actually next see him is a mystery at the moment. We also don't know exactly what this will mean for the world of Destiny. I saw some speculation that Aldrin could be a new Hunter Vanguard or something crazy like that, and obviously it has the potential to be a pretty controversial move, so I'll be curious to hear your thoughts about it down below, but 100% Prince Aldrin is now a Guardian, and I'm sure over the next weeks and months we'll discover precisely what this means, but I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Now though, in the game, the Veteran Bundle has now become available, so if you did pre-order Forsaken before mid-October, you're eligible to pick up this bundle, and it's actually available at Commander Zavala. So there will be a notification for it in the game, but just in case you miss it, you can go to Zavala, and he'll have this package right here in the special delivery section. You can grab that, you'll get the emblem, the new shader, the 2 exotic emotes, and some of the random drops. You can see the shader right here, certainly a pretty cool looking thing. There are the 2 exotic emotes which Bungie have previewed recently, and then there's a new emblem. This emblem actually is bugged apparently and shouldn't have this graphic on it. This is actually a PC exclusive emblem essentially, so I'm not sure if Bungie are going to change it back, but you can get these rewards if you're eligible for that Forsaken Veteran Bundle. Bungie also showed an additional preview right here of the knife trick emote, but from what we can tell, this is actually in Niobe Labs. So we can see it's a different area on Earth, definitely Last City kind of feel right there, but we do have a pretty distinct and different environment. There are some images in the database which are linked to Niobe Labs, and they appear to confirm that this is indeed Niobe Labs, so we're just getting a little preview right there of what this location is going to look like. Now though, let's jump in and talk about the patch changes for update 2.1.3. So there are a bunch of different things right here. For activities, they fixed an issue where the final boss encounter of Scourge of the Past would not end properly, an animation error on Awoken Corsairs. There are additional changes there as well. For the Crucible, they fixed an issue where heavy ammo was not spawning appropriately on Convergence. I believe this is where it was actually spawning in the wrong place on the side of the map. For items and economy, players under 600 power may now receive higher powered rewards when completing director challenges. They fixed an issue where weapon frames would be removed from inventory in error when completing alternate forges, so you now should be able to hold on to multiple weapon frames without risk of losing them. They also fixed an issue where players were not properly rewarded when completing a forge activity that was joined in progress. You can see they updated and fixed the issue where players were not being awarded the triumph for completing Scourge of the Past within 24 hours, and some other updates to triumphs and exclusive rewards that you can see on the screen, including a fix to Harbinger's Echo finally. There are some interesting sandbox changes. Pressing reload while charging a fusion rifle will initiate a reload. Previously, pressing reload while charging a fusion rifle did nothing, so you can actually interrupt a charge to reload a fusion rifle now. And they also fixed an issue where the avalanche machine gun had more recoil than intended. So just a few positive changes right there in the update that we received this week. Final shout right here, of course, we did get a couple of new forged weapons. We have the Spiteful Fang, and these have been declassified in the database now, so we can see some of the potential perks for them. So in the trait slot, Spiteful Fang can get Rangefinder, Archer's Tempo, Moving Target, Air Assault, Sneaky Bow, and we've got Snapshot Sights. The second trait bonus can get Explosive Head, Rampage, Threat Detector, Hipfire Grip, and Quick Draw. I would have really enjoyed to see Dragonfly or something like that on this bow. Of course, it is kinetic, and we don't have Firefly as a general legendary trait in the game right now. I feel like Firefly or Dragonfly is really good on bows. So for me personally, it's a shame that it can't get that perk, but it's definitely a pretty cool looking weapon, and you can get some decent rolls of it regardless. There is also the Blast Furnace though. This is a hard-hitting 4-burst fire pulse, and in the trait slots, you can get Outlaw, Feeding Frenzy, Zen Moment, Air Assault, Quick Draw, Snapshot Sights, and the second slot can get Headseeker, Kill Clip, Rampage, High Impact Reserves, Ambitious Assassin, and Slide Shard. So some pretty solid bonuses on Blast Furnace. It's actually going to be one of the best pulse rifles in the game from looking at it. But these are the potential bonuses you can roll out on the forged frames for Izanami this week. But guys, for today, that is going to summarize the video. So a lot of stuff going on in the game right now. I'll keep you guys posted on the new secrets happening with symbols in the forges. Definitely seems that something pretty cool will be unlocked there. But let me know your thoughts on the new exotic bow in the game, any of the new weapon frames, or the Izanami forge itself. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, a like is very much appreciated below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny content. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. But for now, guys, whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.